So, with this, we are going over to one more fireside chat. So, our next moderator, Ionut Stanimir, is Director of Marketing and Communication at BCR, a leading financial group in Romania that I'm sure many of you are familiar with and know. Beside his role at BCR, he's also co-founder at BCR Innovix, a technology startup acceleration program and an initiator of Romanian Tech Nation, an initiative to stimulate digital transformation. And he will have a conversation with Sabin Sarmas about how a country's development agenda can drive technology, can be technology driven. Thank you so much both for joining us and enlightening about this topic today.
All right. Welcome everybody to this session where I have the pleasure of having here with me Sabin Sarmas, who is the head of the authority to digitize Romania. Welcome, Sabin. How are you?
Hi, Ionut. I'm pleased also to be together in this fireside. I'm fine, thank you. Hope you are well.
Cool. I'm happy to have people actually like Sabin, and I think they represent really a new generation in Romanian government, so to say, but also generally in the policymakers. I think the guys like him are very close to the private environment. They are very close to what really happens in market. So my first, I don't know if this is a tough question or not. Sabin, I will ask you, what are you doing there? And if you are still close to the private environment in this position? And this will be an intro question where I'm also asking you to tell us how are things being seen from that kind of position?
It's a very nice intro as the first one, and thank you for the kind words. We are doing our best in order to having a real digital transformation of Romania. I'm still in touch with the private sector because you cannot achieve your goals in such a position without staying in contact with all the private sector, because even if we as an institution are part of the government, in our opinion, the private sector is our strongest partner in order to achieve this digital transformation. Actually, you don't have all that expertise at in the public sector, so you need all the actors from the private sector in order to come up and to transform Romania. And I think maybe this is our biggest challenge, to use our entire potential, because we have a great one, to use our entire potential in order to change Romania, in order to use all these smart people that gain a lot of experience working for other countries and for companies from other countries to work for Romania. And when I mean Romania, I mean both public sector and private sector, because also the private sector from Romania needs to suffer a strong digital transformation. So I have to stay in contact with all the companies that are ready to involve in this process. And for this, for example, we have a national council, which is kind of a separate organism that is going to give us some kind of advices and work very close with the authority for digital transformation of Romania, with our authority in order to achieve our goals.
All right. I like it very much, to be honest, when Romanian or anyway state authorities try to work with this kind of advisory councils, with private councils, because I think at the end of the day, it's really what matters, exchanging opinions. Now, let me ask you again. Maybe I don't know. Let's talk real here. From your experience until now, I'm sure there are lessons, immediate lessons, which the private sector needs to understand about contributing to a transformation of the government and of the country. And I'm pretty sure there are lessons which the government needs now to understand. would you pinpoint those priorities, those learning opportunities, which on the one hand the private sector needs to understand, and on the other hand the government or the public authority needs to understand? Because I think this is the key to laying down a plan for a deep transformation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's. I like the challenge of talking real here, because that's the most important. And at the end, the private sector needs to understand that it's not going to be easy to change the public sector. It's a continuous effort, and we need to push all the time. From my position, I cannot change the things like the next day, even if I have, let's say, or people think that I have the power to do that. It's not so easy. You know that transforming a company, and especially big one, it's a very difficult and challenging process in general. Transforming a country, in the end, it's even more challenging than that. So that's the first lesson, that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like the next day. Discontinuities are working just in mathematics. In real world, we have always a process, and we need to put all that energy. On the other hand, we need to know that Romania and the entire world and Europe in general is going to change a lot in the next 7 years, let's say, because we have two big priorities: is the Green Deal and digitalization, in order to be more performant and to improve our processes, to have a real digital economy, which is actually the final goal. So this is not kind of lesson, but this is the goal that we need to have all the time in our mind, to stay focused on this, and to understand that we cannot create a separate country that is not connected to the Europe. On the other hand, we cannot evolve separately. Public sector and the private sector. We can see that today IT&C industry, it's somehow at a different level of expertise, brings a lot of added value for Romania. But in the end, we have to evolve together, because we cannot divide the world in two separate directions and to have separate roads. So we need to put all our efforts together to achieve the same goal of transforming Romania in a real manner.
All right. If I take it from here, you're telling the private sector, please be patient, because this is not something which will be achieved tomorrow. And on the other hand, you're addressing the lesson in the public sector, which means focus, because this is a very long-term plan. Now, we all know that the GDP contribution of the IT sector really skyrocketed, and I think today we have over 100,000 specialists, IT specialists, which are contributing to the industry. Nevertheless, we all know that a big chunk of that work, like 90%, it is export driven. So we are creating in Romania, but I'm not sure whether we are buying in Romania, whether we are designing to be bought in Romania. So is a technology nation possible just by export? And if I mean, I'm directing you towards the answer, to be honest right now, but would you please give us the way, how can local design, local IT design be bought locally, be it centrally or locally? Maybe you can share some of your experience also in Cluj.
Yeah, it's clear that this type of IT&C industry is not going to last forever, because everything is changing every day. But to have a product, because that's about, depends on the capabilities of penetrating a market. Nobody is going to invest in a product if it is not strongly proved that you can penetrate a market, you can sell this product. Let's say that digital economy in general creates such markets globally, but you need knowledge to address these markets, you need financial investment. And maybe we are not fully prepared yet. Because I'm in this position today, I'm always thinking about how government can accelerate this process of having products in Romania. And I think we can come with some fiscal policies that will encourage investment in startups, similar to what we are doing today with all the IT and CE industry, because you know that we have some fiscal policies just for ITC industry. I think a lot also in having investment funds supported both by the government and the private sector, because if they are just supported by the government, maybe are going to take a wrong decision when choosing a startup to investment in, because there is no government in this world that has all the understanding of how the startups are working in general. So you need to come again with the private and work with the private sector involved in this. These are just two examples of how the government can encourage this startup world and having products in Romania. But this is coming also with the change of the entire industry in Romania, because it's easier to sell in your own country. No cultural barriers are there. It's easy to sell, and it's faster to sell to prove that your product is viable and it can work on a market. And if the market, the entire market is growing, we are going to see that some products, and some of them probably very interesting, maybe we are going to have other unicorns that are going to rise from Romania. This is going to happen in the next few years. I'm pretty sure about this.
Okay, now I must say, I liked very much what Sabin said. You know why? Because I was also thinking that somehow we have three priorities maybe. Sabin said it's about knowledge. So obviously we're talking education here. He said it's about financing. So obviously we're speaking about the financial instruments to accelerate. And he also said, let's think what are the instruments to accelerate the businesses. I don't know whether he meant accelerators or incubators, but I do want to ask him something. Many times the ideas and the opportunities are there. However, I think we don't see enough of these hackathons or incubators or accelerators, which are actually putting a public service or public issue on the table, opening it up to the market and saying, okay, guys, hack it. Will this be possible? Because whether we can hope that this will be possible, it means all the people who are watching now Techsylvania will have a clear idea whether they can hope of hacking, solving, upgrading Romania public service.
Yeah, this is part of one of my dreams, your question. Normally, I would like to have a public sector where every startup that address the public sector services will come and have a pilot project. This is not happening usually. And why? It's a very simple answer. It's because the public sector doesn't have the knowledge. They don't know how to evaluate a solution that is proposed. And we are strongly working here in creating capabilities, in creating the power for the public sector in order to talk. It's just about talking and understanding what the other side is offering you. To be more precise on this, I don't know if you heard of the digital innovation hubs. There are going to be in each region one of two digital innovation hubs where both the public and private sector will come together and create this ecosystem where the transition and the pilot project and the infrastructure and everything related to this technological transfer from one, it's not kind of technological transfer, but in using the solution, the new solution and emerging technologies in public sector will be accelerated. This is just one of the things we are doing. On the other hand, we are spending some of the money from the European Union exactly for creating the capabilities in the public institution in order to understand what they have on the table, to start a pilot, because a pilot usually it's a free one. You don't have to pay. You just need to put some information to open some data in general, to put some information on the table, and that's it.
I like it again very much, and I think you're becoming slowly one of my favorite public functionaries. To be honest, I know about DIH. We are part of one actually, and it's going to be called the Romania Tech Nation Digital Innovation Hub. Anyway, but listen.
Let me stay just 5 years there, and let me stay just 5 years there, and let's see after.
Cool. I like that very much. I think that's a very smart, a very wise approach regarding educating the public sector how to ask for innovation and how to ask for solutions for startups. Now, we all know that public sector means a lot. It means government, it means local authorities, it means local hospitals or local universities. Give us an insight where to start to make that case that it can work. Where should a startup address first, or maybe chart a bit this whole complexity, because at the end of the day, we do have to start somewhere.
Yeah, maybe my answer is going to surprise you, but we have to start from everywhere. We have to start from everywhere. We don't have time to lose. We have so much money on the table, as I told you, from European Union. We have a lot of expertise. We don't need to have the same approach. Let's start from the, I don't know, central authorities from Bucharest, for example, because are the more important. Because we are going to stay focused just there. Everything is going to be decentralized in terms of European funds in Romania in the next 7 years. We are going to have money in each region for digital transformation, innovation, and everything. So we need to create capabilities all around Romania and to start from everywhere. We can start from public authorities, local authorities, universities. Of course, in the universities is going to work faster and better, probably because there is kind of knowledge in the end. But we need to start to think big and to act extremely fast. We need, as I told you, to create capabilities, and the government needs to change some of the laws to facilitate all this process to go faster. That's the idea. Otherwise, and this is a risk not just for Romania, but also for other countries from Europe, and they admit it, we are in a position where we can risk of not using those money in the next 7 years because we don't have a plan, let's say. So it's a bit risky of thinking just about, I don't know, starting small and from a single point, because we are not going to use our entire potential in this scenario.
I think, again, a very wise recommendation. It does start from everywhere. And I think we're also talking about some sort of cluster specialization here. Maybe those things which have a lot of sense in Iași are a bit different to those things which have a lot of sense in Constanța or in Timișoara. So from this point of view, do you already see this kind of clusters in Romania, or what should we expect in such a perspective?
I think every part of the country has some specific challenges, some specific challenges to address and to solve in the end. There is an ecosystem of clusters in Romania already, which is in place. I told you about the digs. Some of the digs are built on top of these clusters.
Yeah.
And what I think that is going to happen, they are going to be stronger and to pass the first phase when they just, I don't know, just create some events. They are going to be more hands-on in the end. That's what I'm expecting from the cluster, from the digital innovation hubs, from everybody which is involved, because that time where we were just talking, meeting, doing some strategies and so on, it's not today. We need to be extremely focused to see how the others in Europe solved this problem, because the problems were the same like 5-10 years ago in some other countries. As I told you, we have the expertise. We just need to stay focused and to be very practical in the end. And the role of the clusters, as you said, with very specific, maybe, or not very specific, but with specific challenges all around the country, is going to be a great one. And more actors are going to come and to make them stronger.
All right, I think that serves as an intro for the questions. This question before last. So my before last question is the following: we are always talking opportunities, but sometimes opportunity is vague, and it creates this kind of discussion where nothing actually happens. So my before last question is the following. Let's say you were to identify maybe, I don't know, 5 key potential areas for a tech transformation of the country. Could you name just a few? I mean, just for the people to have an idea, where do you think those big opportunities are, and where Romania is ready to, build on them, like really build on them?
You mean as a business? Today?
As a sort of fields, do you think it's going to be more like in agriculture, or is it going to be more in smart transport, or I don't know?
Mm-hmm. You are starting answering the question as you are reading my thoughts. No, it's true that agriculture has a strong impact, and is not only in terms of industry on numbers, but has a very strong impact on social level, let's say in Romania. So we have again the potential, and probably is going to be so, of being one of the strongest country when talking about agriculture. And there is a lot of space for technology. On the other hand, especially in the public sector, but not only, Romania is one of the best countries for robot process for RPA solutions. So I think here is a huge space. We are, as a public sector, we are looking a lot in this direction in order to have fast wins here, quick wins, let's say, because we can come with a lot of improvement. But this is not related to a specific industry. This is related with all industries and public and private sector as well. And as I told you, I don't know if I can point on a specific industry, but
look, may I take it from there, because it fits very well to what I wanted to ask as a last question. You said, I believe in a great potential of an RPA government. And my last question to you, do you also believe in a unicorn government?
I never heard this question before. I believe in Romania as a digital nation, to be honest. And maybe after that we can think about a unicorn government. But I'm going to think a lot about this. I never thought I think we can believe that at the moment we can achieve this, but it's not going to be tomorrow, as I said at the beginning of our talk.
Okay, Sabin, it was great to have you here. Very open, very pragmatic, very concrete. You heard the guy. He dreams of an RPA government. Lots of opportunities there. So maybe that will give us a flavor of what is possible in driving the country transformation agenda with public and private sector together, acting very, very pragmatically, and of course, always in dialogue with people such as Sabin. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.